Hello, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully everyone can see me and hear me okay. This is our Getting Started with MailerLite session and we'll get started very soon. Let me get our presentation up here for us. Thank you everyone again for joining. All right, we will get started in just another minute here. Just to let everybody know, you will see the webinar chat as well as Q&A. For this session, you will not be able to type into the webinar chat. That is only for our panelists to add in knowledge base article links or just other information. But if you have any questions during the session, please ask in the Q&A. So you should see a Q&A section as well. And we have our panelists here today to help answer everyone's questions. All right. Once again, thank you everyone for joining us. This is our session, Getting Started with MailerLite. This is for beginners or just anyone starting to set up their account. We'll go through different parts of the app on a basic level. And let's go ahead and get started. Once again, webinar chat is just for our panelists. Any questions, please type into the Q&A. And the session is being recorded, so if you need to leave early or anything, we will send it out to all who registered. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Looks like we're a minute in. Overall, should be about an hour, the session. Quick intro, my name is Harmony. I'm a customer education specialist here at MailerLite. I've been here for a couple years now, and just looking forward to explaining the app and hoping to make everything more clear for you. And then I also have Alex here. He's our MailerLite video producer, and he'll be co-hosting half of the session as well. So we'll be hosting the session together. Okay, so just to go over what we'll be talking about, once again, this is going to be an overview of the app. So we'll be going over all of these sections on a basic overview level. Starting with subscribers, we'll be talking about importing and collecting subscribers. So how to import using files and other ways to import subscribers, as well as collecting subscribers using forms and landing pages. So Alex will explain this part. Then we'll move on to campaigns, both sending campaigns and automating. So sending a one-off newsletter as well as setting up a email sequence. We'll talk about both of those. And then at the end, we'll leave room for Q&A. Of course, you can ask questions along the way. We do encourage it. If there's any questions that we can answer live at the end, we will. And then we'll also share some resources for everybody. Okay, so just before we jump over into the app demo itself, I will just go over quickly our plan levels so you have an idea of what is available on which tier. And many of you joining might be on the 14-day free trial still, and that gives you access to lots of different features in the other higher plans. But if you are on the free plan, you do have everything you need to get started, especially if you have a lower subscriber amount, then a free plan is a great way to get started. You still can build campaigns, you can still send newsletters, you can still create automations and sequences, you can still build websites and landing pages on the free plan. There's just a limit of 10, as well as many, many reporting features, and you could still create sign-up forms like pop-ups. So everything you need to get started, you have on the free plan. Once your subscribers grow past 500 and you want to have more features and have more ability, you can go into the growing business or advanced. Growing business plan gives you unlimited templates. So in the free plan, you do not have site templates or newsletter templates, but in the growing business plan, you have all of our templates available, as well as other ways to send campaigns, auto resend campaigns, more ways to test, unlimited websites and landing pages, so that limit is removed, more ways to customize your unsubscribe page, more ways to test, multivariate testing, as well as custom domains. This is a big reason a lot of people do upgrade because when you create landing pages, sites on the free plan, you do have our default MailerLite domain, but a lot of people would like to add their own custom domain, of course. So that is one reason to upgrade. And then the last one is the advanced plan, and this includes all of our AI features, HTML editor for those editing using code, multiple trigger automations, which I'll go into a little bit more when we talk about workflows, unlimited account users, and unlimited monthly emails. Very helpful if you have like a large team or you want to delegate different parts of the app to different people. You can do that with the account users. All right, let's go ahead and go into the app overview. So this is what we'll be showing today. As I mentioned, we're not going to be going too in depth into any of these subjects, but we have subscribers where contacts are managed, forms and landing pages. So these are the list building tools, how to collect subscribers, campaigns, both email creation and sending, and automations, setting up email sequences. So I will hand over to Alex in a minute to talk about subscribers and forms. I just want to say quickly why this matters, why we talk about this at the start. When we talk about things like good list hygiene and deliverability, we mainly are talking about making sure that your subscribers know that they're being added to your list. So they have signed up willingly to your list, either using a form or by purchasing a product, different ways that they know that they have signed up. So that is the importance of consent. We do not allow things like purchase lists or getting emails off of social media, anything like that. They have to know that they are, or they have to willingly have signed up to your email list. And that's also important for deliverability. Helps you avoid spam filters because if you are sending content to people who actually want to receive it, of course, less likely to unsubscribe and less likely to mark as spam. Okay, I will pass over to Alex and we will be showing how to import subscribers in MailerLite, creating a basic sign-up form, as well as the basics of landing pages. And feel free to follow along with your account if you'd like to. Alex, I can go ahead and hand it over. I think, let me
Yeah,
stop
let me go
sharing.
ahead and get my screen shared one moment. The MailerLite dashboard now. And then the first thing that we're going to go into, yes, is subscriber management. So that is going to be found on our subscribers tab. So once you're on the dashboard, click over to subscribers. And this is going to be where you can manage anything and everything to do with your subscribers. So first thing you'll notice on the main screen here is you'll be able to see that you can view all of your subscribers. That area is going to be, you can tab down from active to unsubscribe, bounce, spam complaints. Be sure to check out any other videos. We do have some videos going over subscriber management. Now, when it comes to importing subscribers, so you're going to be adding subscribers to your list that you've already collected. They've already opted into receiving your emails, and then you want to add them into your MailerLite account. To do that, you're going to head over to Add Subscribers. And then there are a few different ways that you're able to add subscribers to your account. So the first one's going to be importing via a CSV or a text file. That one's really nifty because you can simply upload a file. So if you have all your subscribers um, organized in a list, then you would just click this button here, import, and then upload. So once you do that, you'd hit import subscribers, and then you can verify all the import settings. You can add them to a group if you'd like to add them to a group when you import them. You can make sure that all the fields are matching. You can choose which ones to skip or add depending on just whatever details you want to include. Um, MailerLite is able to automatically just update information as well. So if you want to update fields, it'll automatically do that. If you want to like delete information, so some information is no longer relevant, you can choose to update fields with empty data. So if you deleted it from the CSV, you can click this box and then upload it, and it will delete anything that has been left empty in the CSV. And then you can also add them to an automation. So for now, we're going to go ahead and just hit cancel on this one. But once you go ahead and upload them, then you'll be able to have subscribers added from that method. The next one that we are going to go over is the copy and paste method. So again, back to add subscribers. And then kind of similar here, you would simply copy and paste subscribers from, say, an Excel document or even from Google, um, even from Google. like slides or whatever, you can copy and paste them into here. I think it's not slides, Google Sheets or something like that. Whatever document sort of application you want to use, you can copy and paste them in here. Just make sure that you have the columns being very clear. So email addresses are all in like column one, name is all in the next column, last name, etc. for every field that you're going to be adding in. You're also able to add a single subscriber, and that one's pretty simple. You'd simply type in their email address, type in their name. You can add more fields. You can add them to a group, and that's how you'd be able to add a single subscriber. One note for adding a single subscriber, it's a good idea to add your own email in here as well, and then add yourself to your own specific group, because then you're able to test out the actual flow that a subscriber would get. So you build a campaign, you can manually send that campaign to yourself just to see what it looks like from the subscriber perspective. So things like links are going to be working, um, images, fields, forms, everything will be working if you add it yourself and send it rather than sending a test email. You can send it yourself like an actual email, and that's useful in some cases when you're trying to test every detail before you get that sent out to your main list. Moving on, you can import from MailChimp. So if you have a MailChimp account and you're migrating over to MailerLite, we can help you with that process right over here. And then we also have import via API. And then that one's over here. You can go to documentation to learn about more about exactly how to get that part to work. So when you're importing a subscriber into your list, you only want to import valid opted-in emails. Um, you want to avoid importing unsubscribes, bounced spam complaints. So if any of those have been on your account, you don't want to import those. And you want to make sure that when you're importing them again, people have opted in to receive email communications from you. We're going to trust that you have already done that, because if you haven't, then you can't technically send them emails. But they've already opted in and they want to receive your communications. So you're going to only be uploading those just to keep your list in very good health. Next, you may have noticed the groups and segments tabs are both up here. So groups are like, think of them kind of like tags. They're used for organizing subscribers, say, manually. So like per form, topic, offer, however they decide to join your email list. That's usually what you're going to want to use groups for. So you can see like clicked but never purchased, or maybe like prospects or customers, people who join your newsletter. That's that kind of thing you're going to be using groups for in your list. Segments, however, are auto-updated by a set of rules. So you'll set up rules, and then subscribers are going to be added or removed from a segment automatically based on the rules that you've set. Let me see if we have any that we've set up here. There are a few that I can show you right on the subscribers window. So you can create segments now. We have a segments library that you can use to get started. And then they're based on like the sort of outcome that you want to create. So you can re-engage inactive subscribers. So if we click on that, then it says emails sent in the last 90 days. And then open rate equals 0. So this is for anyone who has not opened an email in the last 90 days. So open rate equals 0 means they did not open an email, and then you can tweak and change this date. Um, if they have opened an email in the last 90 days, they're not going to show up in this segment. If they didn't open an email in the last 90 days, then they will automatically be in the segment. And you don't have to do anything once you set those rules. Um, that's a quick primer on groups and segments. We do have videos and knowledge-based articles to go over what they are, how to use them, when to choose one versus the other. So definitely if you want to go take a deep dive, check out those resources that we have for you, both on our YouTube channel and in our knowledge base. Next, I want to go over to forms. We're going to cover sign-up forms, just pretty high level, but this is going to be the way that you're getting people to join your email list. So if people who are you're not uploading these people to your list, you're setting this up either on a website or a landing page, and then they are joining and they're opting into your email communication. We've got 3 types of sign-up forms. So pop-ups, um, embedded forms, and then promotions. Pop-ups are going to be able to ones that, they pop up on your website. They appear based on certain behavior that you define. Embedded forms are static, so they don't move on your website. They're like on a fixed location, and then they're going to be on your website. To create a form, simply hit create form. We're going to give the form a name. And then we're going to go over the pop-up form right now. Once you go ahead and select the form, you're going to go ahead and choose a group to add it to. And then I want to apologize for the wait real quick. My groups have been sometimes giving us a little bit of a hiccup here. So let me go ahead and try to get into it. There we go. All right. So when you're hopping into the creation process, you can either start from scratch. We are going to have a feature where you can build your pop-up from AI with a prompt, or you can choose from one of our many templates. We do have templates categorized here on the side as well. So if you have a specific purpose that you want to get it set up for, like lead generation or an offer or just resource sharing, we do have those as well. For now, let's go ahead and just use start from scratch. And then you can kind of get an overview of what our drag and drop builder looks like. So here you can see the builder. To edit text or copy, simply click into that field and then you can begin to type and change however you would like. The same way that you would with any other text editor. If you have other aspects that you'd like to add from the left over here, we have elements. You can simply drag it in and drop it. So we have a drag and drop builder. So it's very convenient for that purpose. Um, let's see here. You can also change the fields that are in the form. So if you want to add different fields, simply click, and then you can add name. You can drag the position, change the position that they're in. You can also customize your layout. You have a lot of different options for how you want to display these pop-ups. And we do have video tutorials going over how to customize pop-ups as well. So definitely check those out. Check out our knowledge base to get the most information if you want to really dive deep into how to make these your own and customize them to fit your brand specifically. Now, once you're done editing, hit done editing. And then you're going to be taken over to the behavior tab. And this is going to let you choose how you want it to show up. So the trigger you can set, you can have it wait a certain amount of time before showing up. You can have it appear when the user scrolls down to a certain part of the page, or you can have it show before they close the page, which keep in mind, this doesn't work on mobile because pages work differently on mobile and desktop. You can also set the frequency, how often you want it to show up to the same user, or set up a schedule. So if you have a limited time promotion, like say Valentine's Day, and you want to have a specific time, then you click this toggle, and then you can set that to only appear during that specific time frame. So you want it to be on like Valentine's Day weekend. You would simply set that, and then your pop-up will only show during that weekend, and then it'll stop all on its own. You don't have to change anything else. Once you're done customizing how you would like this to behave, then you'll hit Save Changes. And then next you get over to the JavaScript tracking snippet. We're not going to show exactly how to get this installed because it's going to vary depending on which website or landing page provider that you're using. But you would put this before the closing head tag. All right, apologies there. And then if you have WordPress or Shopify, you can click one of these links to see how to get that set up. Because if you're using either of those plugins, then this snippet will be installed for you automatically. All right, and then hit continue. And then you're taken to the overview page for that form that you've just created. So you can see a demo of your form. You can edit the design if you would like to. You can turn it on or off. You can change the behavior. So everything that we have set up, you can again go through and edit and change that as well. You can also have, view analytics to see how your form is performing. You can see if it's part of any automations, check on double opt-in, etc. Alrighty, so next we want to go over briefly go over sites or landing pages. So we're going to click over to sites first. And then use cases for landing pages are going to be things like lead magnets or single promo offers, one page call to actions, things that are more specific than an entire website would be. It's called a landing page because really is just one page. Like it's one scrolling page versus a website where you'd have different tabs and buttons and navigation to like get you around that site. A landing page is really just one page. Let's go ahead and go into creating one. Hit this create site button, give your site a name, and make sure you have landing page selected. We do have the ability to create websites, but today we're going to go over the landing page. And then again, select your group that you'd like to add these to. You can create a new group if you'd like. For now, we're just going to pick one of our groups, hit continue. And then you can choose from our templates or build from scratch. So you can view the template gallery. You'll be taken straight over to the template gallery. Keep in mind that templates are going to be a paid feature, but if you are within that 14-day trial period, then you will have access to using our templates to get those tried out as well. We've got many templates depending for different purposes and functions, so definitely check these out. They're a great way to get started with a professionally made design, just right out the gate to help you look professional in as little time as possible. For now, we are going to start from scratch just to get familiar with the builder. Then once we're inside, it may look a little bit familiar since we have our basic canvas and then we have our elements over here. One of the differences you'll notice that we have different blocks available for you to use, but we've also got sections. And this is going to help you put together essentially sections of a website that look pretty professional right out the gate. So you have the hero section. So this is going to be at the top of your page generally. You can simply click and drag that right in. And then again, to edit the content within, simply click inside. You can edit this part. If you click over here again, you can change the settings, change the text for all of it. I would recommend going through our knowledge base article or through one of our videos to go over exactly how to customize and really make this into your own because though it is quite simple, we do still recommend going through and just like learning everything that you can to build out a professional looking website. But you can take a look here. I am simply um, dragging these things in from the side and creating this kind of website. So already, even though we haven't really customized any of it, you can kind of see that it begins to look like a pretty like an actual website just right out the gate. So definitely take a look at that. Images, if you want to change any of the images, you can simply click into it and then click onto this select image button. And then that'll take you over to your file manager where you can upload and insert any images that you would like to customize them and make them, again, your own. Alrighty, and then let's see. Yeah, for a form, by the way, or a landing page, you will need to manually add a sign up form. Those are not automatically included. Like you can see here that they were, it was a blank canvas. You have to add it on your own. That's going to be over in the elements section. Sign up forms, just click it, drag it in somewhere where you'd like it to be, and then you can customize it again the same way you do with the forms. You add a field. You can customize it in that way, but you do need to add that in there manually and when you're creating a landing page. Alrighty, let's see here, and then let's go ahead and click on Done Editing. Because again, I'm not going to go too far into design, but you can definitely check out our resources to get very familiar with it and creating beautiful landing pages in no time at all. All right, so if you're on the free plan with MailerLite, then you will have the default subscribe page.io URL. You can customize the letters that will come after that slash. So if you want to have this like for, say, like a lead magnet, you can get this part set up customized to you. And then again, if you're on our paid plan, then you can have your own domain set up over here as well. The favicon is a little icon that usually shows up in the web browser section or on the tab. So you can customize that image as well. You can customize your SEO settings. Once you have done all of that, then you hit save and continue. And then just like with forms, you're brought over to the overview page where again, you can edit all aspects of what we had just created. If you have an e-commerce um, operation set up here or you're selling any products, then you can view orders here. If you're selling orders through it, you can view analytics, check if it's, how it's doing in any automations, domains, etc. So that is a really brief sprint through our sign up forms, subscriber management, and landing pages. I'm going to pass it back over to Harmony now to go over campaigns and automations.
Great, thank you. We have had a lot of questions, so that's really great. Hopefully, we're able to get to everybody. Let me go ahead and share my screen and go back into actually our presentation real quick. Just one moment here. Just one second. So we are talking now about creating campaigns. All right, sharing my screen. I'm sorry about that. Okay, sharing my screen here. Okay, so now we've talked about how to add subscribers, the different ways you can collect subscribers. Of course, forms and then pages are just one way, but that's how many people join your email list. And now we will talk about creating and sending your first campaign, both through the way that you send a one-off newsletter as well as creating an email sequence. All right. So in this part of the demo, I'll be showing both how to create a campaign from choosing a template as well as starting from scratch, how to add content like text, images, buttons, how to really customize your newsletter, personalization. So this includes adding things like your subscriber's name as well as any other information you have on your subscribers, how to preview and test your campaign before sending it, and then sending it when you create it versus scheduling it in advance. I'll also talk about automating welcome emails. We put welcome emails, this is a good example, but we'll just be showing the basics of automations in general. Automations really do just save time and keep subscribers engaged. They are different from just newsletters because an email sequence can include many different steps, different actions. I'll be showing all of this. So I'll show you how to set up a basic welcome email automation with a trigger like when a subscriber joins a group, as well as all the other triggers I can show you, as well as how to add a follow-up email and the different triggers like clicking a link or sending a follow-up email after or when they click a link in an email. We'll go over all of this. Okay, let me go ahead and switch over into the app here. One moment. Okay, so you should be able to see my dashboard here. Let's go ahead and go over into the campaigns section. And over in campaigns, on the left here we have our sent campaigns. Of course, these are the campaigns that we have already sent out. So we can see all of the stats here at a glance. If we wanted to see stats more in depth, we could go into view report. And we are able to see a lot more of the stats in there. But let's go over to the campaign builder. And actually, I'm going to be using demo account. Here we go. So to create a campaign, you can either create it from the dashboard here, create campaign, or from the campaigns page. As I showed, these are sent campaigns. These are campaigns that are in the drafts folder still being created but have not been sent. And those in the outbox are being scheduled and will go out later. You can also create a campaign from here, create campaign. And the first thing you will choose is your campaign type. For this demo, I'll be showing regular campaign. That is just a regular newsletter, no advanced testing or anything like that. But we also have A/B split campaigns, RSS campaigns for connecting RSS feeds, such as blog feeds, auto resend campaigns. So if you send one campaign and send another one to those who did not open the first one, as well as multivariate testing. Multivariate testing and auto resend are both available on our paid plans, but everyone on any plan level can create a regular campaign. So that is what we will be doing, and that is the most common way to create a newsletter. Then here you can see there's different ways to begin. You can either start from scratch or choose from our many different templates. We have lots of different theme templates here, e-commerce, different industries, nonprofit. So highly recommend to look at all of these designs. You can preview them and start from a template. In this case, we will just start from scratch. Keep in mind that newsletter templates are available on the trial, the free trial, but not on the free plan itself. Okay, and then here we're going to choose our editor. So the drag and drop is the editor that we recommend to use most of the time, especially when you're getting started. Rich text is also good for emails that are going to be mainly text-based. And then custom HTML, which I mentioned is available on higher plans and is for those building with HTML code. For this demo, we will just go with the drag and drop editor. That is the most common, and that is what we recommend to use to get started. And that is how you can add all of your different elements like surveys, images, text, everything. You can really customize your newsletter with the drag and drop editor. So this is how it looks like when you start from scratch. This is just the basic template, and everything that you see here can be customized and edited. So you just need to click into the different areas. You can customize text in many different ways. You can change font size, format. You can add hyperlinks. All you need to do is simply, like I said, click in and edit the different areas. For all of the buttons, if you want to add URLs, you can see when I hover over the button and go over to link, there's an option to insert a link as well as insert a file. This is great for if you're sharing resources, PDFs, anything like that with your emails. The unsubscribe area at the bottom, this is there by default. The footer, this stays there, but of course you can customize all of this. This is just the demo for our account. And if you already have your company settings in your account, they should automatically be applied here, as well as your logo. But if you want to add anything, over here are the different blocks. So we have different sections grouped together like this, where it's image, text, button. We also have different sections like this, where you can add items manually. So let's say I want to have an image here and a button here. You can do that. To add images or change an image, you see when I hover over, there's that replace image button or symbol. And that takes us right into our file manager where we have all the files that are already in our account or we can upload from our device. And then you can replace photos, elements. This is where we have titles, dividers, spacers, more options for buttons, images. You can embed videos as well. Videos, URLs from YouTube and Vimeo should both work here, as well as different elements. We even have audio, links. Over in the content area, you can see there's also different layouts for images, text, so you can really customize this to look how you want. In the special category, this is where we have surveys and quizzes. So if you want to add interactive elements, You can do that. And you can see all I'm doing is just dragging over and dropping. That's why drag and drop editor, very easy to customize your emails that way. To move blocks around, you can see we have these symbols here. Click and drag to move blocks around, or you can use the arrows as well. Blocks are also very easy to delete, to duplicate, as well as to save. If you have a block that you know that you might want to reuse in other campaigns, other ones outside of the editor, you can. Just give it a name. And you can see save blocks go in here. All right. Then previewing and testing. Up here, you can see preview and test, and you have the option for preview mode as well as send a test email. So in preview mode, of course, here you can see how your email looks both on desktop and mobile. Now you can't edit the mobile version, but it is already optimized. So everything here should look as it's meant to look on a mobile device as well as desktop. But the preview mode doesn't show how it looks exactly in the inbox itself. So to do that, you can send a test email to your email address, and that will show you how the email actually looks in Google, in Yahoo, Outlook, any platform like that. So you add your email address here, test email, and that will send an email to your actual inbox versus just looking at the preview. And one of the last things I will show, as well as I mentioned that to edit each block, as you just click into it, and you can see as I click into each block, the settings for them, for the individual block I'm clicking on, appears right here on the right. You can also use the edit icon right here to bring up those settings for each individual block. So let's say you want to add your subscriber's name or any other info you might have on them. What you can do in the area where you would like their name to show, you see here, when I click into the text, there's this variable, sorry, excuse me. There's this variable symbol right here, and that is what we want. There's lots of different options here. Name is going to be the most common, but if you have other information, let's say this is an email for a purchase, you can add purchase information, lots of different things, but let's add name. So what this will do is, of course, when the subscriber receives the email, if the name of the subscriber is in your account, you have their name, it will show here. And of course, you can you would collect their name either when they subscribed or when you imported their contact, but you do have to have their name in order to be able to show this. All right, and then when you are finished and you are happy with everything with your email, done editing up here on the right. If there are any buttons with missing links, it will let you know so you're not sending the email without that, but for now we will just continue anyway. And that will take us to the campaign details. So this is where we set the campaign name, subject, everything like that. So the campaign name is internal. That is not something your subscribers see. This is for your own categorization, however you want to organize your account. Subject line, of course, is what they will see. You can create your own. You can add emojis. You can add that personalization again. So their name or any other information is in the subject line. You can use our AI here, which helps you come up with different ideas. So you can choose the tone, choose the type of newsletter, add a prompt, and generate a subject line based on that. Here you have the sender. So the sender can be your company name, or it can be maybe your name if you want to personalize it a bit more. It depends how you want to appear as a sender. And then the email actually being used to send. Pre-header, this is what they see right after the subject line, so in the inbox itself. So you can use this to say like a teaser, anything to get them to open the newsletter, check out my content, anything like that. And then here we choose the recipient, so who is going to receive our newsletter. This is where we also get back into talking about segments and groups. So you can see here when I look at sending or who I'm sending this campaign to, I can select all active subscribers. So this is everybody in my account, or I can choose a specific segment or group to send this email to, which is going to be more common. It's better for engagement. Typically, you don't want to just send emails to everybody on your list at the same time. You want to have targeted content to your groups and segments. So here I can choose multiple segments and multiple groups, or I could just choose one. I could also exclude here. So what this means is, let's say, here, new import group. I want to exclude. So if I did something like this, what it means is that if they are present in this group, they will receive this newsletter unless they are also in this group, right? So if they are in this group as well, then they do not because it's excluded. That's just an example, but there are lots of different ways to customize how you send your emails, who you're sending your emails to. Let's select recipients. Here you have another chance to preview the email exactly as we did before in the editor itself, exactly the same, as well as sending a test email, again, same as before. Continue. And this is where we either send or schedule. So we can send it right now, right as when we created it. Here we can see a preview of subject, sender, pre-header, and who it's being sent to. Send later, of course, is scheduling it in advance. So you can set the date, time, as well as time zone. It'll default to the time zone you're in, but you can change if you want it sent at from a different time zone. You can also send based on time zones. This is a paid feature, but I will just explain it quickly. So this is for if you have subscribers, let's say in different parts of the country, different parts of the world, different time zones, and let's say you want to send an email and you want it to arrive at 10 a.m. in all those different time zones, exactly at 10 a.m. This is how you would do that. So this allows you to send it exactly at a specific time across different time zones. So that way, if you have subscribers in different parts of the world, they aren't receiving your emails in the middle of the night or at times when they're not going to open them. It's a little bit better for engagement. Again, that is a paid feature. And then Smart Sending uses AI. It basically analyzes the history of your subscribers, when they opened emails, when they were most engaged, and it will send emails based on that to that individual subscriber. So each one will receive at a different time based on their most optimal time to open or engage. And that is what that looks like. Typically, we will either just send it right now or send it later. And then you would either send or schedule. And as I mentioned, if so, since we did not send it or anything that sits in the drafts, if we had scheduled it for later, it would be sitting here in the outbox. And then once it's sent, we have here, as I showed before, you can see all of the stats and, as mentioned, the ability to view the report and see all opened, clicked, unsubscribed, bounces. So this is when it does not actually reach the inbox for different reasons. Different opens, clicks, reading environment, everything. All right, that is sending a campaign. Now we will talk about automations, which is similar because automations include newsletters, but they are a little bit different. So we go over here to the automations page. And the first thing you will notice is you will see workflows on one side and drafts on the other. Workflows are those that have already been created. They are done. They may not be active, but they have all of the elements needed to be a complete workflow. Whereas drafts, on the other hand, are incomplete. Again, they are being created, they're not fully saved, anything like that. So we put them into different sections, but for now, I will just create a new one so you can really see the process. New automation. As with our other areas of the app, you have the option to start from scratch or to choose from a template. Lots of different templates for automations. And if you have never created a workflow before and it might seem a little intimidating, I would highly recommend to have a look at the templates. Lots of them are available on the free plan. Some of them are more advanced and are available on higher plans, and then some are only available for e-commerce. But everybody should have access to at least, a few of or to several of the free plan templates, such as this one. So what the templates will do is it basically gives you the outline of the workflow, but you can still customize, of course, the groups, the emails, everything like that. Highly recommend if you're just getting started, but in this case, I will start from scratch so you can see the process. And workflows are great for many different things. You do not always want to be just sending newsletters, manually. This is great for automatic sends for lots of different things. I talked about welcome emails, right? So here we have the triggers and the rules and actions. Triggers are how an automation starts. It's essentially what a subscriber has to do in order to enter that specific workflow. Do they have to complete a form, join a specific group, join a segment maybe? Let's go with complete a form. And similar to other editors, drag and drop. I mentioned at the beginning of this session multiple triggers. This is what this will look like. This is an advanced plan feature, but let's say that you want to have multiple ways that a subscriber can enter one workflow. You can do that. And I'll do this just so I can show both how these both work. These are two of the most easy triggers to use and the most common. So again, if you are just getting started, I recommend to have a look at both of these. Completes a form is as it sounds. It's a form within your MailerLite account. So that could be an embedded form, a pop-up, a form on a landing page. Just go with demo, save, and joins a group. So of course these can be separated, but I have them in one workflow right now. This is where we select a group. So this means exactly as it sounds. When a subscriber joins a group, they enter this workflow and you choose which group they have to join or multiple. And it does not matter how they join this group. If they join this group by importing, you import a list and add it to a group, they can activate the workflow. If they submit a form that adds them to the group, they also are added to the workflow. Any way they're added to the group that you choose. Okay, so this specific flow that I just created would mean that if a subscriber were to fill out this form and or join this group, they then enter this automation, which right now nothing happens when they enter it. We don't have anything else. So let's go ahead and add what happens. Plus sign here. And that is where we go into rules and actions. And rules and actions are what happens in the workflow itself. So let's go with the most basic, which is send an email. And as you can probably guess, wherever there is a send email step, an email is going to be sent. Okay, so in order to customize that, you saw I dragged and drop, click, and this is where I can customize that email. Again, I have the demo name or the name, subject, similar to what we saw before. And when I click design email, that is going to take us right back into the email editor that I just showed before. So same exact way you choose a template or start from scratch by choosing your editor. But we'll just go back to the workflow for now. Once you go through and create your email, it appears right here. I will just actually choose one so I can show you what that looks like. Here we have the option to also choose from recent emails. This is if you want to basically use a newsletter design or something that you've created in the past. Let's go with this one. Choose. This is an email that was previously sent. We're just going to add it to this workflow as an example. It'll take us right back into that editor we just saw. Let's get back out of there. And we'll be taken into the workflow again where that email will now be placed where I put that step. So now when this is fully set up, as you can see, let's save that. Now we have this workflow. They complete a form, they join a group, they receive an email right away. You don't have to sit there and wait for them to join that group or know when they join it. This is automatic. And this is essentially a workflow. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than this. This is an automation. But of course, we can add more to it. Let's go ahead and add more rules and more actions. I'm going to drag over a delay. And the reason I'm adding a delay is because I want to add a second email right here. Because I want this to be a sequence, I want my subscribers to receive email 1, and I want them to receive email 2, but not right away, right? I don't want to just be sending a bunch of emails the same day, the same moment. That is why we add delays. Whenever you have multiple emails or multiple steps in a workflow, it is very important to add delays because this is like a pause. It has the subscriber wait and sit before moving on to the next step. This could be days, minutes, hours, or specific times. Let's go with days. Let's go with 3 days. And now we have completes a form or joins a group, receives email 1 right away, waits 3 days. After 3 days passes, then they receive email 2, which we can set up in the exact same way we set up email 1. If we want to make this a little more complex, we can add more. We can, let's say, move to group. This action would move a subscriber from one group, anyone you choose, to another. Move from, move to. Save. So now this looks like this. Joins a forum, joins a group, email 1 is sent, 3 days pass, email 2 is sent. Right after email 2 is sent, they are automatically categorized into a different group as we choose. It is also very easy to edit your workflow once you have things set up like this. Here on the side, on the left side, you can use this symbol to drag and drop. So you can see here when I drag a step, it shows me where I can drop it. And that allows you to just move steps around very, very easily. You can also, if you have a large workflow and you don't want to be dragging around too many steps, you can also cut. You can see here I just clicked this 3 dot symbol, cut, and then you can paste. All right. And lots of other options for automations, but this is mainly what I'll be showing. But you can see here, you can also unsubscribe a subscriber. Let's say this is a reactivation type of workflow where you're trying to re-engage old subscribers. Maybe at the end you want to unsubscribe those who don't engage at all. That could be an option. You can update custom fields. You can move subscribers around to different steps. You can send yourself internal notifications. Let's say I want to personally, as the account owner, I want to know when a subscriber has reached this step. Then I can do that. That just sends me a notification to my email or wherever I want to receive it. So I know what's happening here. And then you activate it, which I will not do right now. Another way to know what is happening with your automations, of course, is by the report. So let's go over into our workflows that are more set up. And here you can see we can either activate them, but we do have the option to view report. This is where you can see all of the stats that are happening within your automation or all of the actions that are taking place within your automation. This one doesn't have too many stats to show. Let's see. Let's go view report here. So this is an example of what will be shown here. So you can see the overview, subscribers that have completed the workflow, those that are in the queue, total emails that have been sent, as well as the stats, opened, clicked, all of that. You can see it over time, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, as well as similar to the campaign stats, you can see reading environments, top clients, as well as individual reports for each email. All right. Activity is also how you check what is going on within your account, within your workflow. You can see the exact amount of those subscribers who have completed, those that are waiting in the queue, which is waiting at a delay step, or those that have been removed, canceled, or failed from the workflow for any reason. Maybe they unsubscribed, for example. And then history just shows the actions that took place with the automation as far as edits. So when it was activated, when it was edited, things like that. All right, that is basically it. Let me go ahead and take us back to our slides here. And we are reaching the end of this session. So thank you everyone for sticking through. We will wrap it up. I want to quickly mention something here. We do have a new initiative at MailerLite, and this is something that I do want to recommend very much to beginners as well. This right now is free, and it is something that we are just starting, so I recommend to check it out. It is a free 6-week MailerLite cohort, and this basically is a 6-week training, but I don't want to make it sound like this intense course or anything like that. You will have help to build a full email marketing system. So if you are just getting started and you're not really sure how to strategize when it comes to email marketing, you're not really sure how to use MailerLite to the best for your specific business. I recommend to check out this cohort. We will send more information out in the follow-up email, so don't worry about having to look this up. We will send out lots of info. But this is something that we will be starting very soon, and we are accepting applications and signups. So this is, I highly recommend to check this out for those that needing help with strategy and building an email marketing system. As well, I want to make sure that we share our resources. So I will be sharing this all in the follow-up email itself, but we have a knowledge base where we have articles, step-by-step articles for everything we talked about, everything in depth, as well as video tutorials. If you want to follow along visually, we have tutorials for all of that. The Academy is something that we are working on. I would recommend to keep an eye on this, but I'm not going to say to sign up right now because we are kind of rebuilding our Academy at the moment. But we do have the MailerLite community, and that is a great option. It's kind of like a Facebook group, but it's not on Facebook. It's held on Circle, and it's a community of other MailerLite clients, other people that use MailerLite. If you need support, you can use that community to see what other things people are talking about. Maybe someone has the same issue as you or same question as you, I mean, as well as customer support. So customer support can either be reached via email if you're on a free plan, or we also have the option to do live chat if you are on the trial or a paid plan. And not so much email, I mean, but you can reach out to them via the contact us page if you're on a free plan, if you need support. But I do recommend for support, we have to check out our knowledge base and tutorials because we do have a lot there. All right, that is basically it. Looks like we finished right at the hour mark. So again, I appreciate everyone who joined and stuck with us all the way to the end. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully we were able to answer your questions. Hopefully we do not create any more confusion or anything like that. So I really do appreciate that. Um, I'll answer this one question live just because I do see it here. Someone asks about our expert program. We are going to bring that back, but I do not have specific dates or anything like that. We paused that program last year to again revamp it, same way we are with the Academy. But very soon, the 6 week MailerLite cohort that I mentioned. I'm not going to say this is similar to the expert program because it's not necessarily meant to replace it or be the same thing. But if you are interested in what the expert program was, I would also recommend to check out the cohort because this takes you through a training similar to what the expert program essentially was. Um, so this is not, again, not replacing it, but it is something that we are offering for those interested. All right, I do see somebody asking about the circle community and how to join. And let me go ahead and just make sure that we put these things in the chat if they're not already there. We are finished with the actual sharing information for this session. So at the moment, I am just going to be sharing some resources here in the chat. So have a look here in the webinar chat. That is the link to our MailerLite community. Now, when you click it, if you're not a part of Circle, you'll have to create a quick account on Circle. I think that takes just a minute to create an account, and then you'll be able to be in the community. And I highly, highly recommend it. It is free. There's lots of resources in there, and we do share a lot of information in there. We also help answer questions as admins, so we do offer some level of support, but we also encourage you to see what's been answered already. I will also add a link to our knowledge base. All of these links I will send out in the follow-up email, so do not worry if you miss them or can't copy the link for any reason. All of this will be sent out in the follow-up email today. But in the link there, or in the chat there, I just put links to community, the help section, as well, or the tutorial section, as well as um, our knowledge base. And I can also put more information here as well about the cohort, just well for those that are interested in the direct link. But again, I will be sending this all out with the follow-up email. Okay, so let me go ahead and just send out. This is the direct link to apply for the 6 week MailerLite cohort that I mentioned before. All right. All right. Thank you everyone again for joining. Let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen here. All right, we are officially done with the session. Again, I will send out all of the resources at the end of, or when we're done here, I'll be sending out everything in the follow-up email. We do host the session twice a month. So if you want to attend it again or, see the same kind of demo, we will be holding it again next month. And I will be sending out the recording of this exact session. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Hopefully we were able to help clear up any doubts and explain the app for you, and we will see you again in the next one. Thank you, everyone. Bye.